Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to animate in Photoshop using just the types. Okay, so this is my basic layout in Illustrator, and then this is the Photoshop version with some colors and textures, and eventually we're going to make this animation in Photoshop. Okay, let me play again. So we can use it for any SNS like the Instagram or Facebook or Twitters. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so first we need to plan how we want to lay out and how we want to kind of make a composition. So you can do this in Illustrator or Photoshop, either one's fine. But normally I do this layouting in Illustrator first because to me it is easier to control and manage my typefaces. So I'm doing this in Illustrator. But if you feel more comfortable in Photoshop, you can do that. It really doesn't matter. So once you're done on this layout like this, we need to have some kind of a plan how I want to animate it. Maybe in my case, I want to animate J, Y, K, my big initials separately, and then my graphic designer title, my full name, and then my contact info separately. So what I did, once I'm done with this, I moved everything to Photoshop. Still the same size, 600 pixel by 600 pixel dimension, the new document. And as you can see it, let me put my layers panel to here. I have my background layer, I have my J layer, Y layer, K, my title, my full name, and my contact info. So this is kind of what I got. Okay, next thing is I want to have some background images I want to use. So this is the background image I want to use. So I'm going to use that. I downloaded from the pexels.com. So let me copy this and paste it right above my background layer. Command V. Let me pull this back to this panel and let me change the size. Okay, maybe somewhere here. I think it looks good to me. Okay. So I have a background, but I'm still problem is my text color is too dark. So let me change my text color except my three initials, everything to white. So let me select my text layers, all of them, and into white. So this is a hex code, so let me type 6 Fs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's white. Okay, so it looks good. But also I want to apply some kind of outer glowing effect for that. From my graphic designer, my title, click on the layer style from your layers panel. Let me choose outer glow. Maybe in black. So 6 Fs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's black. So it's your choice. It's up to you. Okay, it will depends depends on your background color, background image. And my full name, let me do the same thing, outer glow. Yep, looks okay. And my email, my contact info, I'll do the same thing, outer glow. My phone number, and my URL, my YouTube URL. Okay. Okay, so it is clear enough. I like it. Okay, then next thing is before we animate individual layer. Oh, I forgot something. I still want to do something on my JYK, my three initials. So we can change the color. I made sure another outer glowing things, but I want to try some the layer style. So if you go to, oops, I have too many pages open. Okay, brushlovers.com, brushlovers.com, and then under styles menu, you can find a lot of different layer styles. You can choose it. Yes. So for example, maybe I want to use this kind of a grunge metal. Okay, then click on the free download. It will be downloaded into your download folder, and then you can open it. Now you're gonna see that the file's name with the three extension .asl. So that's the free style you can use. So let me go back to Photoshop. Okay, open your layer styles panel. If you do not see it, it is under Windows menu and layer styles. This. Then click on the drop down menu, choose the import styles, and then you will find that grunge style, grunge metal, ASL thing, and then open it. And it is added in your panel. So for example, my letter J, just click on that. I have the texture. But this time I'm gonna use another texture I like, which is this one. So just navigate through all layer styles and then you will find there's something you really like. Okay, so I think I'm ready. Let me pull this over. Okay, so as you can see that I have the multiple layers. There's one more thing I want to do. I want to change my background layer into black. So let me set my fill color to black and use this paint bucket tool. So I have a black background. Okay. Then next thing is we can start the animating as it is, but what I want to do is I want to convert each layer as a smart object layer, because as a smart object layer it will give you more options and then you can make some more dynamic animation. So from the bottom layer, choose the drop down menu and convert to smart object. Okay, so I will do everything. Okay, I think I'm done. I'm ready. Let me rename my layer 1 as a BG, background layer. Okay, and then let me pull this back to here. Okay, next step is go to Windows menu, open Timeline. Once you choose that option, it will ask you two options. See that drop down menu here? Click and choose the Create Video Timeline, the first one. And click on this button. Now you can see that all the layer information. Okay, now we're ready to animate it. So my first thing is I want to have my background image kind of fade in from nothing to this. Okay, so that means it will start from the 0% of opacity value and up to 100. And so that means it will start from the pure black because my very bottom layer color is black. So on BG layer, more options here. Let me change first transform. I want to make it start kind of a little bit bigger and getting smaller. So click on, make sure your blue playhead is on 0 second, very beginning. Now click on this stopwatch icon. It will insert the very first keyframe, which is the hour departure. Now move your playhead to 1 second mark. You can see that on the bottom. This is the 1 second mark here. click on this diamond button. It will create another second keyframe, which is destination. What I'm going to do is, on my first keyframe here, and then choose the keycap, Command T or Control key, Command T, and let me make it a little bit bigger. Let me hold down the Option, maybe like that, and hit the return. So this is happening, right? Also, at the same time, I want to change the opacity value. Click on stopwatch and move your playhead up to 1 second mark. Insert the second keyframe. Now move playhead back to the beginning. Click on your first keyframe, and then in your layers panel, my background layer is selected. Just to change the opacity value down to 0. See? So do you understand the concept of this animation? It's pretty simple. Okay, so my background is done. Let me close it. Next thing is, I want to animate my letter J. So my plan is, once my background is fading in and settle down on 1 second mark, I want to start animating my first initial J. So place your mouse cursor on J layer, your mouse cursor on the very beginning, there you see that kind of a brackets with the arrowheads, and drag it up to this point. So that's where my J letter starts animating. Okay. And reveal the options. What I'm going to do is, I will do kind of the same thing. So click on the first transform stopwatch here. See that? New keyframe. Now move your playhead 15 frames second, which is the half second, and insert another keyframe. Now move back. Select your first keyframe of letter J, your first initial, and then Command T, transform. I'm going to rotate it, so when you place your mouse cursor a little closer to the anchor point, you see that kind of bend arrowhead, that means you can rotate it. While you are holding down the shift key, you can rotate precisely. So I want to make it upside down like this. And also, by holding down the Option key and drag, I want to make it a little bit bigger. Maybe not too much. And hit the return. And see what happens. This happens. Okay? But also, I want to change the opacity value. So, on the first keyframe of the first initial letter J, click on stopwatch. Move your playhead to the second keyframe, the same timeline. Click on the diamond for the second keyframe. Then move back to here, select the keyframe, and then change the opacity value down to 0. So the letter J is fading in and spinning and scaling down. Okay? So this is done. Now, next letter Y. I want to start the letter Y once J is set like this. Excuse me. So let me start my letter Y next to the second initials from this point. Like I did for the letter J. Transform and half second, which is a 2 second mark. Insert a keyframe. Back to the first keyframe. Select the keyframe. Then Command T. Rotate it 180. Make it slightly bigger. And hit the return. So I have this. Also, I want to change the opacity value on first keyframe and the second keyframe. On first keyframe, on letter Y, highlight it and change the opacity value in your layers panel. So this happens. So JY. Okay. And the next letter, my third initial, letter K. I'm going to start this after letter Y comes in. So, same way. Open your options. Then, click on the transform stopwatch for the first keyframe. Move your playhead 15 frames second. Insert another keyframe. Back to the first keyframe. Choose your keyframe. Command T and rotate it. Make it bigger slightly and hit the return. So I have this. Okay. Same way. On first keyframe, let me change the opacity value by clicking this stopwatch on opacity layer. Move to another 15 frames second. Insert the second keyframe. Then, the very beginning, the first keyframe, change the opacity value of the layer. Fading in JYK. So it looks pretty okay. Now next letter, the next one is the graphic designer and then my full name. I want to have the kind of the animation happening in the same timeline. So what I'm going to do is, let me select this two layers at the same time by holding down the shift key and move it. Oh, you have to do it one by one anyway, like this. Okay. So once my last the initial K set the position, then my graphic designer, my title, I just want to change the position of that. So click on the transform stopwatch and another kind of a 15 frames second. Insert another keyframe and back to the beginning, the first keyframe of my graphic designer title. I'm going to move it out of stage like this. So it is coming in like this. Okay. And then also for my name, full name, I want to do kind of the same thing, but I'm from the different direction. So on 3 second, that 2.5 second mark, click on the transform panel, the stopwatch. Move your playhead 15 second frame second mark, 2.5 second, and insert another keyframe. Back to the first keyframe of my full name layer, and then let me move it out of stage. Oops, too much. There we go. See? Okay. Now I have 3 more. My email, phone number, and my URL. Okay. So in here, my email, the first one, first line, I'm gonna move this up to here so I can start from there, and then open, transform, half second mark, insert another keyframe, back to the beginning, to your first departure, first keyframe. Then I'm gonna move it to there. Oops, too much. Like that. See? For my second line, my phone number, I want to move it, start from somewhere here. So it will be happening at the same time. So while my first line is coming in and my second line starts coming in. So that's the plan. Okay. I'm going to move it to maybe somewhere. Yep, it's okay here. So open the options. Insert the first keyframe by clicking on this stopwatch. Maybe not too much, maybe just about this. Second keyframe. Then up here on my first keyframe, I'm gonna just move it to there. Okay. See? So second line is kind of following. Okay. The last one. Let me move it. I want to start maybe from somewhere here. Okay. Open the options. Click on the transform stopwatch. Maybe somewhere here. Second keyframe by clicking this diamond. Back to the beginning. And let me move it out of stage. Okay, so I think it is done. Let me rewind and play it. Rewind. So it starts from black. JYK, my name and title, and then my information. Let me replay it. It's gonna be smoother. Yep. So don't worry about that kind of little wiggly ziggly things. Once you export as a video file, will be fine. Okay, so I think now I'm ready to export as a video file. So go to File, Export, choose Render Video. Okay, so that's the name of the file. I'm gonna yep, export to this folder, and the size will be 600 pixel by 600 pixel, and the format H.264 and YouTube HD. Okay, so I chose that from the almost bottom here, and render. Okay, so let me check my folder, which is here. I got this here. So let me play it. Is it nice? It's pretty simple. Fading in, spinning. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this. So thanks for watching and see you next time.